Hello, I'm Alberto Abadía, the CEO of HoloNeos. Today we are going to talk about 5 challenges that you will face when working with generative AI and particularly how to solve them. For sure you have experienced when you try generative AI a number of problems in the answers that you get. What I'm going to describe is what could be called the personality of generative AI. Because of the way that generative AI is generated, it has certain habits or patterns in behavior that may actually provoke these challenges I'm going to be mentioning right now. So I will describe them as personality traits because this is what actually are somehow. Okay? The first personality trait that you will notice that is a challenge is that generative AI is usually overconfident. Okay, you ask any question, it always gives you an answer. It doesn't matter what, and it's very, very sure that the answer is correct. Okay, because that's the way it has been designed. So you have to be very, very prudent and careful with the answers that you receive. It's very important that you give context, okay? Generative AI doesn't have memory. It receives all the information, even from the past, like reminded every time that you put a prompt in, okay? So it's very important that you fit or sit inside the system certain behaviors and memories that allow that the question is properly answered, okay? You need to give all the information. Otherwise, it's going to bend the wheel. It will always invent the wheel. It will not consider the facts. It will not ask you what is wrong with it. So I encourage you, when you try to solve some complex problem, that you are sure you're giving all the information, you are explaining how you want it to be delivered, and make sure even by asking that this is a fully trustable answer. The second challenge that you will face, and another personality trait that you will find in generative AI is that is short-sighted. Okay, short-sighted. What do I mean by that? It doesn't care very much about the future. Let's call it like that, and that is actually because its own nature. Everything that happens is always in the present for it. Again, even the information, the memories that may be fed in by the different providers, ChatGPT, Gemini, HoloNeos, that somehow cultivate or put that memory in the prompt that you are putting it. But at the end of the day, it's only giving you one single answer. Okay. The problem with that one is that obviously is trying to give you one answer that doesn't care much about what is going to happen after that. If you get the answer and you are happy, even that maybe that answer is not the best in the world, or is not reliable, or is not the best one, it doesn't care, okay? That's the tendency. Obviously, us as the ones that we work with this technology, we try to prevent and avoid that problem as much as we can. But you have to be very, very careful when you ask some question, double checking, understanding, re-asking again, seeing the consequences, and try to make sure that you are not just getting what you want to hear, but not the real good answer. The third element is that it is sloppy. And what do I mean by sloppy? Not really that the answer is not so good or whatever, but it tends to patch everything. Everything is about patching it, and again, it has to do with the nature of the technology, which is the generation of tokens. Okay, so it doesn't understand let's repair something. It understands let's put something after that repairs the previous one. So, for instance, if in every word that you write there is a mistake and it writes another R at the end, instead of solving that problem that is generating the R, it will put you a patch that erases the R. So the problem is still there, and then you have another patch, etc. That makes systems overcomplicated, solutions overcomplicated, tests overcomplicated. It doesn't matter if you're working with an algorithm or you are working with a test. It tends to solve things by adding, okay? That's another problem that you need to control. Then is the tendency to solve the problems by trial and error, which in principle is nothing is particularly bad. I mean, it's a fair approach to solve problems, but obviously it has two problems. The first one is that it's a lengthy process, okay? If we ask to solve a problem that we have in an algorithm and it only solves one and then it solves another one and then it solves another one, we can be working with that for many hours getting a result. And the airplane challenge, okay? In some cases, you cannot afford to be building airplanes and crashing people and planes 20 times or 100 times or 1,000 times in order to get the best result. We have to be very careful with that combined with the patch problems, it also makes the process very lengthy because generative AI counts tokens, so words basically, okay? So for it, it is easier to tell you, okay, change 20 words here instead of let's change the entire paragraph in once and that's done, okay? So that's the last point, no? Personality issue that you need to solve, laziness. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's provoked by the way that the same AI has been designed. Some providers give you models that don't have permanent life and basically decay, age with time. So that provokes this laziness in some cases. But it also the laziness related to what I just said before, which is the tendency to think that it's better to tell you to change 20 or 30 different things in 20 or 30 different places than just getting all together and giving it to you, okay? So laziness is another thing you have to control. I think what will help you more in general, that's my general advice in all the things that I said, is being aware of them and try to control. Generative AI is particularly sensitive to the instructions that you give it, okay? It's very sensitive to that one. So you need to sometimes waste a little bit of your time trying to set certain rules, trying to make sure that before you go to the point, you tell very clearly how you want it, how fast you want it, and what you want it to be the result. So that will save you far more time than if you try to ask questions directly. So thank you. This is the video for today. We will welcome your questions, and I see you in the next video. Please send your questions too. Thank you.